Alright, ladies and gentlemen, another video today. Basically, I saw Megan Rapinoe complaining about how much female sports players get paid and shit like that. When it comes to equal pay, I'm on board. You know, people should be paid the same amount for doing the same job. With sports, it gets a little bit trickier, but when it comes down to it, there's always a workaround, right? So I think they should be paid in relation to the pay-per-views they're bringing in, how popular it is, how many people are tuning in, all of that shit. I remember a press conference with Ronda Rousey, and the reporter asked her if she cared about, you know, you get paid less than Conor McGregor and do you care about this? Because, you know, you're obviously a woman, and women are getting paid less. And Ronda Rousey's response was incredible. Beautiful mic drop moment. She turned around and said, look, Conor McGregor brings in more pay-per-views than I do. I get paid for the amount of pay-per-views and ticket sales I put on, and that's how the pay's done. It's fair. When I get more popular, then I'll get more money. And it's absolutely true, right? And I think that's how it should be across the board. I'm not in favour of this, you know, a pay discrepancy between men and women, which, by the way, I said in my yesterday's video, it's fucking bullshit anyway. It's got nothing to do with whether you're a male or a female. Like I said yesterday, there's the Home Office constabulary gentleman who Matthew Parr, who was being paid £52,000 less per year than his black female counterpart, who had the exact same job role. It's fucking insanity. But this is more about the sports thing, so we'll stick to it. And as you can see, I've got this Instagram post pulled up, and a bit of a self plug. This is my Instagram post. This gentleman right here, if you don't know, is Carsten Brash. Now, obviously, there's been a lot to do with, you know, women are just as good as men at sports. Blah 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 blah. Fine, yes, there are women that are amazing at sports. I've already mentioned Ronda Rousey, very impressive for the short time she was in the UFC. Now, this particular thing is a little bit old, but Megan Rapinoe reminded me of it, and I just wanted to share this because I thought it was fucking funny. So obviously, Serena could beat most top-tier men, because feminists and other sort of left-leaning people love to forget this. They love to forget history. They love to completely delete it out of their memories. And it's just insane, because the same thing is happening politically. And the age-old saying, which gets hammered at the moment, but it stands true, is if you forget history, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, right? So Carsten Brash, I'll pull up the Battle of the Sexes Instagram, right? Because it's absolutely brilliant. Carsten Brash was renowned for smoking a cigarette between changeovers during matches in tennis. Yeah, this guy's an absolute fucking Chad. Loves a couple of beers before a game. And I'll just read this for you on Wikipedia here, which we know is the bastion of truth. Carsten Brash versus the Williams sisters. Another event dubbed the Battle of the Sexes between Carsten Brash and the Williams sisters. They claimed that they could beat anyone outside the world's top 200. So Brash thought, fuck it, let's have a go then. Ranked number 203 at the time, Brash was described by one journalist as a man whose training regime centered around a pack of cigarettes and more than a couple of bottles of ice-cold lager. This is the fucking levels of testosterone we all dream of, boys and girls. This dude's a fucking legend. He needs more publicity, and I swear to God, he needs to be brought back to the forefront of fame. So the matches took place on court number 12 in Melbourne Park after Brash had finished a round of golf and 2 shandies. Now, for those of you that don't know who shandies are, fucking idiot. What a shandy is. A shandy is a beer with a bit of lemonade in the top, or a bit of Sprite or whatever, you know. It's basically a light beer sort of thing. You're mixing a beer. He first took on Serena, and after leading 5 sets to 0, beat her 6-1. Venus then walked on court, same fucking day, mind you. Boys already played a round of golf, beat Serena, the better of the Williams sisters, fresh as a daisy. Venus thought, I'll pick up the crumbs post-battle, let's have it. Venus walks on court, and again Brash was victorious, this time winning 6-2. Yeah, but Venus did better than her sister. Yeah, because the boy was fucking knackered, mate. And he still won. Brash said afterwards, 500 and above, no chance. Just, he stuck it in and he's given it the twist. He added that he played like someone ranked 600th in order to keep the game fun, and that the big difference was that men could chase down shots much easier and put spin on the ball that female players can't handle. Now let's remember when old fucking Johnny McEnroe was commentating, and one of the female commentators had the audacity to say that Serena Williams is arguably the best tennis player in the world, and Johnny McEnroe was like, "Are you having a fucking laugh, love? Because there's no way that she's going to beat Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, Juan Martín del Potro would put a ball straight through her. That man is a fucking monstrosity." And it's just not going to happen, right? So I'm in the fitness industry, and the consequences of this kind of language, I think, is what's paved the path for trans women getting into female sports. So biological males, I'm probably butchering it, biological males getting into female sports. Okay, so back to my Instagram post. It just can't happen. And there's people on left-wing media, mainstream media, all of it, all the time, on every social media platform, particularly the fucking hate spiral we know as Twitter, going on about how there are no biological differences between men and women. Fuck right off. And as I said in this, Serena Williams is not the greatest athlete ever argument. That's trash. And like I said, could she beat me? Absolutely, even if she was anesthetized. There's a 0% chance of me beating Serena Williams in a tennis match. Definitely not. Definitely not. So let's have a look at a couple other sports. I've coached weightlifting before, and there's a absolutely stunning and brave woman called Laurel Hubbard, formerly known as Gavin, big fucking Gav, champion weightlifter when he competed against men. So let's bear that in mind, right? I think he used to compete at 105 kilos in men. I believe he also had a couple of junior junior national records in New Zealand for weightlifting. So then he decided he was a woman, and this is a big point, right? So he decided he was a woman. I believe he was on some hormone therapy to try and bump that testosterone down a little bit, but he had his cock and balls. He still had all his beans and mash. He could still impregnate a woman. It was a bloke. This fellow was a bloke, yeah? He subsequently broke 4 records and won gold in a women's weightlifting meet in Melbourne. What the fuck is happening? And I know this is pretty old, but listen, it's not okay, man. And Joe Rogan's been banging on about, in MMA, you got Fallon Fox. Look at this fucking monstrosity. I don't want to fight that. Like, what the fuck is that? And I mean, Fallon Fox, one of her biggest claims to fame is the fact that she was fucking breaking people's skulls. And the LGBTQ, look at this, MMA fighter is a woman, get over it. And this is fucking typical Vice, man. It's just insane. A woman, get over it. Now, whatever. Fallon Fox is the first openly transgender fighter in MMA history, but losing to her in a fight doesn't mean Fallon has an unfair advantage. It just means she's better than you. Are you fucking kidding me? She's fighting women. She's not even a good fighter. She is not even a good fighter. And that's the thing. When she did come up against a female that was a good fighter, I can't remember who it was. It may have been Amanda Nunes. She's an animal. She got beaten. Fallon Fox got beaten because she wasn't a fucking good fighter. She was just manhandling women. And it was just horrific to watch. She had orbital breaks. It was just horrific. And it's completely fucking unacceptable. And there was also I believe it was a UK rapper that decided to identify as female just for shits and gigs, for some lols. And he ended up breaking female powerlifting world records. Like, you're out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. And it will be the end of female sports. I mean, in America, you've got biological males identifying as female who were going into track meets and subsequently winning scholarships for colleges and universities, that they're sports scholarships that should have gone to females who have worked their asses off to get in and get a scholarship because they knew they could have, and then you've got these blokes that are just fucking blowing them out of the water, absolutely destroying them, and for what? They're stealing scholarships, and it's absolutely criminal, and it makes me absolutely furious. And if I had a daughter, I'd be throwing my toys out of the pram even more than I am now. And to the people that go, oh, well, you know, maybe... actually, but before I go on to that, so I've had people say to me, like I said about Serena Williams, she could definitely beat me in a match. And I also saw I can't remember if it was Vice, but it was a left-wing media lot, that there was a woman who said to her son, do you think boys are stronger than girls? And obviously the boy was like, 100%, mum, what are you talking about? And then she goes, well, how about you arm wrestle me? And he arm wrestled her. And obviously, this kid was like 8 years old, man. And his mum beats him in a fucking arm wrestling match, and then goes, now do you think girls are stronger than boys? No, I think women are stronger than boys, you fucking asshole. And you've just demoralised your son. And you fucking horrible bitch. And how about you come and arm wrestle me? Come and fucking arm wrestle me. I'm not a big dude. Could Serena Williams beat me in an arm wrestling match? Maybe, because she's a proper athlete. But some fucking 35-year-old middle-class mum is not going to beat me in a fucking arm wrestling match. Stupid bitch. Now, the other thing I wanted to go on to is I love Juji Mufu. He's partnered up with Tom. This is just some recent event stuff. And I'm just going to pinch old Infinite Elgin Intensity over here. He broke it down because he's a lawyer and he's much smarter than me. I have a very, very smooth brain, right? So basically there's a lawsuit happening between Juji Mufu and old Tommy Boy over here because old Camera Boy got a little bit fucking greedy and took a load of money out of the business account. To be fair, he was the majority shareholder, but what a fucking piece of shit. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I'm like, man, don't fuck your friends over. I mean, the only reason that Tom is anything, has become anything at all, is because of this absolute fucking goat over here. And Juji, obviously I've never met Juji. Juji, come on, please let me meet you, I love you. He just comes across as a super nice dude, man. Super nice dude. And I just don't get how someone could do it to him, right? Like, what a fucking piece of shit. Now, moving on. I am reading off like I printed out a fucking Word document because otherwise I lose track. And we're going to come all the way over to British media now. And we've had some stuff going on, man. We've had some stuff going on. Also, I had someone like, was it this one? I believe it was this one. So my video yesterday, I brought up Sarah Everard, right? And I just wanted to clarify a couple of things because one of the things I forgot to say was when Sarah Everard was kidnapped by that absolute fucking degenerate piece of shit, Wayne Couzens. She was walking through a really shitty part of town. I think I did mention that, and I just wanted to put forward that there's been a lot of like feminist groups and stuff on social media talking about how, and there was the No More Violence Against Women march and protests, say they're going to reclaim these streets and we just want women to be able to walk down the street safely without fearing for their life and things like that, right? So all I wanted to say was, if you're walking around a shitty part of town, it doesn't matter if you're female, it doesn't matter if you're male. It's not safe. And at some point, you need to be responsible for your own safety. And I'm not talking about the way you dress, alright? Because fundamentally, I don't fucking care how you dress. If you want to be promiscuous, or if you just like getting a bit of skin out, or whatever, man, that's your prerogative, eh? And that's not my problem. I mean, I'm from Australia, and there's fellas walking around with their tops off all the time because it's hot. So equality, all of that, whatever, that's absolutely fine. I personally wouldn't find it attractive for women to be dressed arguably super promiscuously. It is attractive, of course, because you've got your skin out, fine. But men are gonna look. We're all fucking animals. But obviously, I don't think men should be catcalling in a horrific way. By all means, compliment a woman. Obviously, compliment as in, you look nice today. Not, I love fucking nice tits, eh? Not like that. But, I'm a happily married man. And my wife, when I first met her, I did not find her attractive because she was always getting her skin out. I found her attractive because she didn't. And because she was a genuinely interesting person. She's super fucking intelligent. She's way smarter than me, mind you. And that was why I found her attractive, right? But I don't care how people dress fundamentally. But as a man, this idea that men feel safe walking around at midnight. I've seen Instagram polls that go, what's one thing you would do in your local area if you felt safe as a woman? And the overwhelming response was I'd take a midnight walk through the streets of my town. Fuck right off, man. Because if you think that we as males find it safe to fucking walk through town in the middle of the night, you're out of your mind. And this brings me to this, right? So this is Sadiq Khan. This is the London mayor, all right? The Lord Mayor of London, if you will. And it's not fucking safe, man, all right? I'm a physically capable male. I fuck around with a bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit of Thai boxing. I'm not some fucking MMA fighter beast. Nothing, none of that. But I'm not a useless person when it comes to physical confrontation, yeah? But I don't walk around with my headphones in at night time if I'm having to walk from a train station to my car or whatever. I don't have my headphones on. I've got my wits about me. Jesus Christ, I was in Croydon last week at 11:30 in the morning, yeah? And I walked 200 meters and first off, there was a homeless woman that dropped her blanket and then decided to blame me, and I got yelled at for being a fucking immigrant cunt. Obviously I didn't say anything because she's obviously a bit deranged, but I was like, hang on, am I now a victim of a hate crime, or does it not count because I'm white and she was mixed race? And then 50 meters down the road, there's two black gentlemen who were quite clearly doing a drug deal, because I caught a portion of their conversation talking about gear and that. They fit the bill, and the one sitting in the car, it was like some layer cake shit. It might as well have been a bright orange fucking Range Rover, right? It just wasn't subtle. So this is what I mean, yeah. Lord Mayor Sadiq Khan of London thinks that London's very safe. He doesn't think it's safe for women. So let's have a little clippy do when you vote for Labour. And this is why I posted this, right? Open up, come on. And just listen to what he says. I'd rather invest in future Stormzy's and Daves. Let me turn this up. Zippity zip. I'd rather invest in future Daves and Stormzy's rather than future victims of crime. Yeah? So, and this is the same motherfucker that put a fucking knife ban on in London, thinking, oh, I know what'll fix all the knife violence. I'm just gonna ban knives. And look, what are you gonna do? Ban acid, Sadiq? You fucking dick pump. I don't understand what you thought was gonna happen. And people that think there's not gun crime in London are out of their mind. All right. So just on this gun crime thing, I know a gentleman who works for the non-violent crimes department of the police in London. There are 380 non-violent shootings in London, more than one a day, and that are non-fatal. So, how do you think we don't have a gun problem when there's there's more than one a day of non-fatal shootings, just the non-fatal ones? Obviously, there are also fatal ones, but it's a right-wing talking point in America, right? If you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns, okay? And they basically have fucking rent-a-car systems where there's multiple gangs, opposing gangs, that will get hold of the exact same firearm, because there's people that have these guns that go, oh, do you want to pay for a little bit of extra insurance on that before you take it out for a little spinny do? Like, they just hire it and then walk off, alright? So it's just insane. Sadiq Khan also, he hates London culture. He basically hates white people, alright? So, which brings me to his opposition, who's a gentleman called, actually, before, it was Elijah Schaefer that brought this to my attention, right? I'm sorry I'm so all over the place. I've got so much to say, and my brain is a fucking scrambled egg mess of just shit that wants to come out of my mouth. Elijah Schaefer, who's also, like James O'Keefe, an absolute ledge. Sadiq Khan knew misogyny will now be recorded as a hate crime, a huge victory for everyone involved in this cross-party campaign. It's time for every Londoner to call out sexist and misogynistic attitudes wherever they are found, in the workplace, school, on the streets, or public transport. Now, quick definition of misogyny. Dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. How the fuck is that a hate crime? Look, if you've got a problem with women as a male, I think there's probably some deep-seated issues, and it's one of those things where it's like, bro, who hurt you? Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay? Because if you really have contempt for women that hard, clearly your mum didn't hug you enough, or I don't know, maybe a girlfriend tried to finger you without your permission. I don't know what happened to you, but you need to get your balls and extract them out of your pelvis, extrovert your penis so it's no longer a fucking entrance hole because you're a cuck, and bring it back outside your body, back to being a PP, man up, and go and speak to some normal women, you fucking moron. Okay, so that's my point on that, yeah? But to make it a hate crime, okay, well, all you feminists want fucking equality. Let's make misandry a hate crime, shall we? Let's have a little looky-do. And I know I'm using Bing. Don't fucking hate me for it. And I'm gonna misspell this. Misandry. There we go. Meaning. Beep boop, beep boop. Dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men. Okay, you fucking find me a feminist that isn't a misandrist, alright? Because that is specifically what they're calling for. They just fucking hate men, and it's like, who hurt you? Are you okay? Because stop being a psychopath and maybe speak to some men. And it's this thing where they're like, men have no idea what it's like to be a woman. No, we don't, you silly bitch, because we're male. Of course we don't know what it's like to be female. But the inverse is also true. You have no idea what it's like to be a male, alright? And I don't think the plight of the modern male is any worse or any better than the plight of the modern female. But I think if you want equality, we need equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. I mean, if it was equality of opportunity, we've both got the opportunity to walk around the streets at midnight. The statistical probability of either one of us being fucking killed, it may lean a little bit more in favour of men in regards to, it's a male, they will see it as an opportunistic criminal, will see it a little bit more inconvenient to try and attack a male, right? So that's fine. But if you're going to get equality of outcome, that means we need to just bump the numbers on men being attacked more, right? And it's this thing where you just get this hatefulness against men, and what it results in is these little fucking cowards who decide to be white knights, who most of them turn out to be kiddie fiddling paedophiles and rapists. And I think they're just attacking the testosterone. Actually, it was Elijah Schaefer speaking to Jack Murphy, who said they're attacking what it means to be a masculine male, right? And I think it's absolutely true, and it's so sad. And I have a son, and I will bring him up to be a masculine male. He will respect women, and the true meaning of a masculine male, not he won't be a misogynist. He won't be, you know, he's not going to hate women. He should love women. We should adore women. They're the bringers of life. And I will never forget when my wife gave birth to my son. You know, she went, all women, I think a lot of women go through body image issues and things like that when they give birth, because it's a terrifying experience. It's a lot of pressure on their body. And she was worried that I didn't find her attractive anymore because things change, or, you know, you go from having this big pregnant belly to it doesn't quite go back immediately. You've got water retention, things like that. Now, my wife's into a bit of health and fitness, and that made an absolute difference. And every female who's wants to get pregnant should train. Who is pregnant should train within the constraints of the time of her pregnancy, and post-pregnancy should definitely train postpartum, because it's so important to get your body back to a good state. Whether you want to have more kids or you just want to enjoy your life and run around after your kids and shit, it's extremely important. And she had body image issues and stuff like that. I think all women do. She doesn't have them now. She's fine. But what I had to explain to her is my attraction to her only compounded post-pregnancy, because I'm quite a traditional male, yeah. So she brought me a child, yeah. She built a child from scratch, which is 50% me and 50% her, and that is the greatest gift that any woman could ever give to a man, or herself, or the world. And she's a loving mother, and we love our son, and he's fucking incredible. The kid's an animal. Now, as I said to her, I've never found her more attractive, and it's based around respect, yeah, because seeing what she went through in the pregnancy, and it was a normal birth. She's a beast. She busted this kid out. Everything went fine, kid's fine, everything's great. And my respect for her was just through the roof. Like, women, while they're giving birth, I'd love to see the breakdown of hormones and stuff that are running through their body, because you women, man, you're fucking beasts, and you're incredible, and we should all respect that. And we should also protect our women against awful men, including misogynists. But misogyny shouldn't be a fucking hate crime. Now, let's continue to my Sadiq Khan has a opponent called Lawrence Fox. Now, Lawrence Fox is an actor. He's also going to be running for London Mayor, I believe. I'll be supporting him because some of the fundamentals around Lawrence Fox. This is more regarding coronavirus, but I will reclaim your freedom to work when you want to and how you want to. Remove the obstacles that stand between you and rebuilding after lockdowns. Brilliant, on board. Reclaim your freedom to move. Yep, great. This is the important one for me, because Sadiq Khan, he's out of his fucking mind. I will reclaim your freedom to speak, to be yourself, to be part of the broader conversation, to cherish your history rather than rewrite it, which is a little side point, right? So, in 2002, the greatest Briton of all time was Winston Churchill. Okay, he was voted the greatest Briton of all time. Yeah, because he was pivotal in ending a world war. I think that's pretty fucking important, don't you? Now, his statue and legacy is now being regarded as racist, and it just drives me insane. Like, he wasn't a fucking he wasn't a racist, and I guess arguably everyone was a fucking racist back then, but they were old. They were old as fuck, right? And also, now we've got these fucking riots in Bristol, which old Bojo posted something last night. I'm just going to read you off a quick little screenshot that I took. Okay, so Boris Johnson put up... Actually, let's just go to his fucking Instagram, shall we? Boris Johnny Johnson. There he is, the big man. Old Big Bojo. Bless his cotton socks. I saw that meme page too. We'll have a little looky-do at that in a minute. Now, this is important. So, last night saw disgraceful attacks against police officers in Bristol. Our officers should not have to face bricks, bottles and fireworks being thrown at them by a mob intent on violence and causing damage to property. The police and the city have my full support. Now, I agree with Bojo there. The police shouldn't have to deal with this. And I can't help but feel that we're following... This is what I mentioned yesterday as well regarding Sarah Everard. We are following the ideological sewer runoff from America. And I love America. I love what they're doing over there. I don't like what they're doing regarding the police riots. I mean, Antifa and Black Lives Matter, you people, man, they're just... You fucking bastards are crazy. Like, Antifa just hijacking shit, causing billions in damage, and we've got the same thing over here with ACAB, which is called All Cops Are Bastards, and they're just fucking assholes. And now they're attacking police officers in Bristol for what? For what fucking reason? Because some prick in London, some copper in London, one of these bad apples, for example, which aren't many in London, mind you, or in England in general when it comes to the coppers, decided to start attacking police. So in Bristol as well, what they did when the first Black Lives Matter shit came through, as a result of George Floyd, as a result of a man dying of a fucking fentanyl overdose in a different country, they decided to take down the statue of Edward Colston. Okay, so Edward Colston basically built Bristol. Let's just Google old Edward Colston, yeah? They've fucking taken this cunt statue down because he was a slave trader. Yeah. But everyone was a fucking slave trader. Look, 1636 to 7021. How far do you want to go back in history and just fucking get rid of history? Let's take the statue down. It's gone now because he was so awful and evil that we must forget about him. Fuck right off. Once again, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, alright? Now, Edward Colston, I've seen people that went to Bristol University who said, oh, taking down the statue is well overdue. Well, I'm sorry, but hand back your university degree, you fucking idiot, because you wouldn't even have it, because that university wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for Edward Colston. He built Bristol. And yes, he was a merchant, he was a slave trader, but that's how money was made. And do you know who they bought slaves off back in the day? It was black tribal chiefs who were capturing prisoners of war from neighbouring tribes and then selling them to the white people. How far do you want to go back for these reparations? You fucking idiots. Now, a couple of other things. Crime's up 50% under Sadiq Khan comparative to when it was Bojo. Sadiq Khan has called Lawrence Fox a far-right extremist. He's not. He's a conservative and he's more of a liberal. He's a bit, he's definitely right of centre, but he is not. And one of the things he said with an interview with Maya Tusi, who's another guy I follow, who's brilliant on YouTube. Everyone should give Maya Tusi a follow. He's an absolute ledge. We'll go YouTube. So Maya Tusi, he's helped me a lot, man, because once again, I'm a smooth brain. Maya Tusi's much smarter than me. He's been breaking down Brexit. He had a conversation with Lawrence Fox. It's an absolutely brilliant interview, and that little clip there is Lawrence Fox being approached by the police because someone called the police on him for campaigning to be the next London mayor. And a couple of things that Lawrence Fox said. One was there are 200 calls a day with people snitching on each other. 200 calls a day. Are you fucking seeing this shit, ladies and gentlemen? This YouTube channel isn't subscribed to Maya. Let me fix that. Maya's a legend. I can't remember where he's from. I don't want to get the wrong nationality for him. He's English. Because when you come to England and you apply for indefinite leave to remain and you settle here, you are English. I wish it was as true as what it is in America, where you've got Asian Americans, Japanese Americans, Chinese Americans, Italian Americans. They love it, but it's quite hard. I mean, I'm Australian, but I'm not recognised as British. I live here and I've got family. My family are here. My wife's British, my son's British. But, I will always be Australian in the eyes of any... I'll always be a fucking criminal in the eyes of any English person, generally. So one of the things that Lawrence said in this interview, and I'd encourage anyone to watch it, is he was talking about biological denialism, right? And I think that's an incredible phrase when it comes to sort of this LGBTQ argument, because one of the things that it brings me on to what John Doyle said about neuroplasticity, okay? And it was a very good thing that he said, because he was describing why it was that transgender brains, when male transitions to female, her brain begins to change to fit that of a cisgender female, and John Doyle said it was due to neuroplasticity. Now, I think that was quite an astute observation, okay? Because we know children have far better neuroplasticity than what men do, than what adults do, because they're kids, they're absorbing information, okay? And this is what terrifies me about the world that my son is being raised in, and why I'm going to be so adamant that he gets raised as a masculine male who can use his hands, and he's gonna train, he's gonna weight train, he's gonna do everything he can do to be the best man that he can be, and I'm gonna try and fill that information in his head and really teach him about the world as early as I can, because if we pop over to Amazon, I just want to show you one of the most fucking egregious things I've ever seen, because this is the kind of shit that they sell, right? So Amazon, beep boop beep boop. Amazon, oh idiot. LGBTQ alphabet ba 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 ba. Now, LGBT the alphabet 2, okay? LGBTQ the alphabet. This shit is gonna try and make its way, the ABCs of LGBTQ plus, right? This kind of bullshit is gonna try and make its way into our primary education system, and it just makes me fucking sick, because this is where you've got kids that don't even, like, my son goes to nursery and a couple of times he went through a phase where they were doing dress ups and he would pick the pink princess dress. Why? Because he fucking liked it. He has no idea that that's girls' clothes or boys' clothes or whatever. He has no idea. He has no reference to what sex is or anything about that. So why are you filling their heads with this utter trash? The LGBTQ alphabet is a book about the many diverse letters in the alphabet and the many different animals they can represent. It's a fun exploration of letters, animals and cultures in this big, beautiful world. Everyone is different, but we all belong to the same animal kingdom. This is a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing, man. Like, kids don't need to be learning about this absolute trash. They've got this whole thing of, there was a woman that was teaching her child, look, A is for activist. Like, are you out of your mind? Teaching her child, A is for, I can't remember, A is for ally, and B is for bisexual. Kids, there was a thing that Jordan Peterson said, which he mentions the zone of proximal development, right? That's why we use baby language with children and things like that. So, and it's important because they don't understand complex sentences, and you need to gradually move them on to more and more complex things, okay? Not just go straight in for B is for bisexual, A is for anal, let's fucking get rim jobs. It's just fucking crazy, and I hate it. So the other thing I wanted to go on with is, over here we've got the NHS, okay? And the NHS is the National Health Service, and it's a socialist construct. It was a socialist experiment, and I just flat out disagree with the premise of it, because I pay national insurance contributions every year, which come to about £600 a year. And portion of that goes to the National Health Service. So basically what you've got is socialised healthcare. And it just doesn't fucking work, man. I mean, I could be putting £600 a year into private healthcare, to a private health insurer, which would be far better. Because why should I, as a under 30-year-old, non-smoking, well, fit and healthy young male, why should I have to pay as much for a fucking 175 kilo or 350 pound overweight smoking degenerate who's on benefits, who's just leeching the system, costing the NHS billions? Why should I have to pay as much for healthcare as what that fucking degenerate does when I don't use the NHS? When I could just pay for the correct level of cover, and as a result we've got waiting lists out the door. It's just a shitty experiment, and I'd encourage anyone to look it up, alright? And the last thing I wanted to say was, there was I can't remember what I was listening to, and I can't remember who said it because I'm a fucking idiot, but one of the best sentences I've heard when it comes to what political ideology we should follow is, in my family unit, it's a communist structure. I am the definitive leader of my family, along with my wife, and we have someone who's not contributing at all. He lives in the house rent-free, he eats our food, he drinks our water, all of this, and that's our son. Because he can't fend for himself. So we should absolutely look after him. We need to look after him. He belongs to us. It's our fault that he's here, and we need to look after him. Now, when he gets older, you need to allow your children to be released from that communist system, and you need to give them a bit more freedom, or they begin to rebel. Now, in my community, a socialist structure does work, which is basically just help thy neighbour, okay? Just help your neighbour out. When your neighbour goes, we had elderly neighbours next door to us, and one of them got injured, the one who normally mows the lawn, and I said, bud, it's okay, I'll mow the lawn for you until you get better. You know why? Because you help your neighbour out, because you're not a fucking prick, alright? And then, when it comes to the whole country though, socialism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. We need a capitalist free trade system, yeah? Because when you've got a share house, and you've got, let's say, 4 people in a share house, 3 people are doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, they're paying the rent, they're doing any maintenance that needs doing, and then you've got one fucking degenerate who just sits in his bedroom, stroking one out, spaffing into a sock, smoking weed, doing whatever he's doing, eating all the food, drinking the piss, having showers, he's breaking cups and you're replacing them, he's not paying any rent. Do you let that person live there? No. You go, hey moron, how about you fuck off? You can leave. And you know what their excuse is? Oh, but I wouldn't have anywhere to live. Yeah, we know, dickhead. Go home. You don't have a home anymore because you can't fucking live here. Because you're not contributing to society. And then, if you remove the incentive, they will be forced to fend for themselves. Okay? And this is this whole thing that annoys me, where you've got these people that go, oh, middle class people, just they're privileged and I need more benefits and we should tax the rich more, blah, 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 blah. I think everyone should pay their fair share. I don't think we should have bottom feeders, because if I stop working, I'm out on my arse. I get sent home to my home country because I'm not entitled to public funds, and it doesn't matter that I have a wife and child who are British who live here. They will send me home. They will. And if you do some fucking research, I'll try and put it on Instagram and shit about the visa questions I had to write down. But I'll tell you one before I finish. And one of the first questions was, do you have any dependents? Yes, I have a son. Are you the mother or the father of the child? Now, why is there a separate fucking channel when it comes to being a mother or the father of a child? Don't know. Equality, all the rest. Obviously, I picked on the father of the child. Next question. Would your child be negatively affected if you were to have to move back to your home country without them? Are you fucking kidding me? And I will try and get the source for this. I will try and take a photo of it and I'll put it on my Instagram profile. But just to let you know, that's the kind of shit that happens. And, I think it's a pretty crazy question. But obviously, I said no, and then they asked for supporting evidence of that. Now, all I want to say is, if you see some shit that you want me to comment on, please let me know, and I'll try and get better at these videos when time comes. But This is the best I can do for now. I think it was better than the last one. But please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I'm on there. My YouTube is in my Instagram link. And yeah, otherwise, guys, keep looking out for some mad shit. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.